It's time now to check and give you an update as to our top story tonight here on CNC3. Earlier on, we told you that Chinese nationals, they were protesting today. They were protesting against inhumane working conditions, and they also complained that they had not been paid in about 2 months. Our crews are down at the scene at the Chinese embassy where the workers took their protest, and I believe that they were moved away just a few minutes ago. Let's check in now with Roshan Sukram. Roshan?
Good evening to you, Shelley, and good evening to our viewers on CNC3. You're absolutely right. A short while ago, just over 100 Chinese laborers were packed into 2 buses and they were carted off from in front of the Chinese embassy. It is a bit unclear as to where their next destination is. As you know, earlier this morning, they were protesting in Chaguanas. Then they came into Port of Spain. We did overhear a conversation by a senior police officer who indicated that they will be taken, they may be taken tonight to the immigration offices in Port of Spain. Now, whether we can confirm that or not is left to be seen a little bit later on, but they were carted off under heavy police presence. There were officers of the Guard and Emergency Branch who accompanied those Chinese laborers. Also, what one police officer did indicate that no official from the Foreign Affairs Ministry came here to at least find out what was happening or what was taking place. He expressed a bit of frustration that since this impasse started earlier this morning, that no one from the Foreign Affairs Ministry in Trinidad and Tobago came to find out what was happening. A short while ago, we were called in by an official of the Chinese embassy. He gave his name as Liang Gang, and he is the Director of Commercial Services at the Chinese Embassy. And it's a new twist on this situation. Now, the laborers have been complaining about inhumane conditions and no pay for the last 2 months. He is saying that it is a contractual arrangement between the contractors and the laborers, and the Chinese embassy, which acts more as a diplomatic center, cannot get itself involved in this contractual arrangement between the contractor and the Chinese laborers. You're saying that the diplomatic center is not a court, neither a chamber of commerce, and will not, at this point in time, get involved in this dispute between the contractor and the Chinese laborers. But he did mention that if the rights of the Beijing workers, the Chinese workers, are infringed, that is a matter that they can look into, but at this point in time will not intervene in what he's calling a contractual arrangement between the contractors and the laborers. He says the embassy is in no way obligated to get itself involved in a commercial matter at this point in time, Shelley.
Okay, Roshan, just a couple quick questions here. So at this point, have you seen any company officials, the contractor involved, the people who hired these Chinese laborers, are they anywhere on the scene?
They are nowhere to be seen nearby. A short while ago, the official at the Chinese embassy did indicate that 2 officials from the local contracting company, and he declined to tell us the name of the local contractors, only saying that tomorrow he will furnish that information to members of the media. But he did indicate that they came to the embassy earlier this afternoon, sat down and had negotiations, and he said it was more of a formal discussion, not really negotiations, as to what their position is. They are disputing that they are not owing the Chinese workers. The Chinese workers are saying different. They're being owed 2 months' pay. And he did say that they will meet for further discussions. He didn't say when that will be, but he said they agreed to meet again to have further discussion as to how to end this impasse. The Chinese laborers, on the other hand, have been demanding as of today that they be taken back to their homeland of China, Shelley.
Okay, and Roshan, do you know if translators are with them? I know that there's a serious language barrier here. Earlier on, we had a couple people, I think volunteers, pretty much translating for them to the media. Are those translators allowed to go with them? Has the embassy provided any translators to go with them, with the police?
That's another frightening situation. When we got here just before 7 o'clock at this protest, they were sitting on Jackson Square just outside the Chinese embassy. There was no one in the contingent of the protesters who could have spoken the English language. And while we were here, there's absolutely no one no translators who can provide that kind of service between the police officers, the embassy, and the protesting laborers. When the police officers decided to take them into the buses, they were simply motioning to them, using their hands to please come forward, and take them into the buses. There was a serious language barrier existing between the laborers and the officials at the Chinese embassy here, Shelley.